right, looks like they have the fair going on alongside the Trinity River. There's a smoke coming out of Papacitos. And there is, yep, that's the fair, Trinity River. Let's go with 13mm. We're on a bridge. Yeah, I'm gonna be just like Ronald Reagan. You know, Nancy Reagan told everybody, just say no. We're gonna have to have the whole campaign all over again. My slogan's gonna be this: grow up, not weed. So grow up, comma, not weed. Basically, grow up, stop dealing and selling and growing weed. Grow up. All right, we're gonna pick someone up at the Mama's Pizza, which will take, I don't know, who knows how long they take. And it's a pepperoni pizza. It'll be going to your door. So, Greyhound West on Bandcamp. I'm gonna hit this button right here. And it is on Bandcamp. It's the Cole and Linda Filmmaker Band. And I'm the one singing it right now. Mama's Pizza and Mark Kozalik cannot suck my beep. Because if Mark Kozalik doesn't clean it up, I'm gonna kick him in his door with my people and rip him out of bed. I don't care about his cats. And I'll drag him into the freaking courtroom and ask questions. That goes for his whole band, one by one. So pretty much dump it down the toilet, you punk ass punk. That goes for everybody in San Francisco, including Daphne and the Woo. Haven't played it, but you sit down. I'm sure David would like to play it because he wants to drive cars for a living. David's my son's name. I don't know if that's copyright music or not. And this is the old school Generation X. Mr. Pac-Man and Galaga. David and I used to love playing video games together. There we go. And if you want Mama's Pizza, it's 817-731-MAMA. 817-731-ILME. If you're just sitting around listening to boomer music all day long, all you're doing is prolonging the boomer movement. I'm talking about the hippies music. I mean, hey, someone died that was Gordon Lightfoot, and I think it's great. Not that he died, but I think it's great that they remember him. I think it's great that we can move on from the past. We could still listen to his music and be like, wow, this is the most beautiful music ever. But we don't want to live in that moment because we're in a new moment. We're in the new Liberty Party is about new liberty from Generation X and on. It's about letting go all the hippies. Gordon Lightfoot, he hung on as long as he could. And his music is way better than all our music, just like Jimi Hendrix and all. We know. Foo Fighters will tell you, everybody, we all know. Nirvana would have told you, but they lost their lead singer because of a boomer. Because it was a boomer who was mixing that heroin for Kurt Cobain. Boomers were making money off Kurt Cobain. Let me tell you something. There's more old drug dealers than you think. My dad was one of them. He bought the drugs. It's the same thing. If you buy the drugs, then you're dealing. You're part of the dealing process. And my dad would buy methamphetamine. And we had to do an intervention with him in the late 80s. Because he was a hippie kind of. He was kind of a postmodern hippie kind of guy. You know, he's more country with a conservative mind. But he was still from the hippie generation. He didn't have to go over to Vietnam Island to fight. But he did. He was drafted, but they let him stay here because he had a hurt calf because of polio, and he wasn't able to really go. But he was able to train to go. They trained him to kill, but they did not send him over there. And so that's still the frame of mind to kill is what the boomers are about. That's why their music's so good. Their music is so good so they can kill with their music. That's what money does. That's what blood money does. It kills. And most of them are on drugs. Probably Rick Beato. He probably once did it. And will admit to it. He has it on his show, not that I've heard, but he probably was around it. And buying it is dealing it in my book. When I face you in Congress for buying drugs, we're going to talk about how you help deal drugs by being the buyer, which is just as wrong. They find the big cartel drug dealers because of the buyers and because of some of the dealers. Buying it is going to get you in just as much trouble as selling it. It's buying and selling that gets you in trouble, and how you gain that money to hold her prisoner, right? Because that's what it boils down to, holding that lady prisoner, making her bondage and drugs, right? Her bondage is drugs or alcohol or addiction. That's why she was around so many Latinos, was because of all their addiction problems. And they have it, people know. So do white people, some white people, but Latinos, it runs very high. Alcoholism and marijuana. Many Latinos do it. Puerto Ricans, we know where it comes from. Look at Miami and all the bust. The cartel, mostly Mexican. It runs in the cartel families too. See, I'm here to do one thing only. I'm here to marry you. But see, I gotta stop certain abortionists. People that think it's okay to abort babies. Yeah, I gotta stop them, because that's part of the drug dealing game. Abortion it's directly related to drug dealing. And we can get you for murder on certain drug deals, especially if you deal to a child, right? Or someone that has the frame of mind of a child. You go into prison. See, there's many men in my church. They're completely clean. No drugs at all, not even aspirin. They even fast, and they don't even drink beer. They have beautiful wives, beautiful children, and none of their wives practice abortion at all. None of them. None of them practice it at all. They're not witches. They're actually women of God, and they are beautiful women. You wouldn't even believe. They don't even look at people like you. They don't even look at you. When you go walk along somewhere. Go to one of their Easter things and see if they look across the yard when they're with their children playing. See if they look at you. They won't even look at you because you're scum. And they want you in prison. You know why they want you in prison? I got to remove this thing so I can talk clear. You know why they want you in prison? So they don't have to look at you or smell you. Your nation smells of sin. That's what I love about life. It's my church, MacArthur Boulevard Baptist. All we'd line up. Now, I gotta admit, it's mostly white people, and they're white women and white children. And it sounds bad, but it's a beautiful thing to see your family up there, those that are like you, praising the Lord with their hands in the air, and not a thought goes to your mind about anything wrong with it, until one of them from a different nation goes up there, and then they go in the back alley, or they go somewhere else and they play that rap music that talks about hurting women and children and doing drugs. Then you have a thought about it. That nation doesn't belong up there. That nation does not belong up there preaching like that, because it's wrong. They want to be wrong on purpose, to rebel against God. But yet it's beautiful to see when it really happens. When we all get up there as a family, and we look about all the same, praising the Lord with their hands in the air. It's a beautiful feeling. I've seen that. I've seen all of my children up there
David and Elizabeth, all playing. I even have footage of it. And guess what? You'd have to change your life and give your life over to the Lord so that he can help you see those beautiful things, those Easters and Christmases and Thanksgivings. You would have to ask God to help you for that. I asked God to help me, and he gave me my 3 children and my beautiful wife, who's complicated with, she was born with spina bifida and neurocardiogenic syncope. She's not perfect. None of us are. That's possibly why I show you that none of us are perfect. None of us are. None of us are perfect, not even you. So the neurocardiogenic syncope causes her to pass out and go into kind of like a non-seizure seizure. And the spina bifida is when they're missing part of their spine. But yet she was still able to have 3 of my beautiful children who are just beautiful and smart and intelligent. She sent me letters about it, how smart and intelligent they are, and they're all mine. And I have Irish, English, and Apache. I'm not completely white. I've got a little bit of Apache in there. And boy, it makes some of the church members kind of mad. But I have a little Apache in there, and so do they. So you know what? We represent more than one nation, just like you. And listen, we know how much you hate us. And you want to go to Walt Disney World too. And we want you to go to Walt Disney World. Hey, it builds our empire when you go to Walt Disney World. Let me ask you a question. Did you tithe this Sunday to your church? Did you tithe to your church this Sunday? Did you? Did you give some of your money to God? I don't think so. You gave some of your money to a bunch of drug dealers, didn't you? When Channing Freelove kept doing that, they blew her head off because they're not like the church. They're like the other thing that you worship in the 9th gate of hell. His name is Satan. See, when you give money to drug dealers, you're tithing to their empire in a way so they can make you feel better physically. But you're not always going to feel, especially when you're dead. You won't feel when you're dead. You'll feel nothing. You'll have a complete detachment from God. You can't kill a Christian. We live forever. Listen to the take. And what it is a non-seizure, okay? It's a non-seizure seizure. Okay, that's what she has. It's neurocardiogenic syncope. And it's basically where you pass out. You're staring into space. It's a non-seizure seizure. So the mind is overloaded. The blood pressure drops. So the mind becomes overloaded and the blood pressure drops. And they go into like this seizure where they're staring into space. Did you know what can happen to you if you are an alcoholic and you're no longer able to get a hold of the alcohol? Do you know what happens in some cases? You will go into a seizure. And in some cases, they have to actually hold your tongue down so you don't bite it in two or bite part of the seizure. Meaning you don't bite part of your tongue off through the seizure. Because you can bite your tongue when the seizure happens. Yeah, that's what happens when you no longer are going to be able to get a hold of your alcohol. You are going to go into a seizure. So when you're not able to get to your alcohol, you are going to go into a seizure. You're going to go into a seizure and almost die. When you're not able to get to your alcoholism, when you're not able to get the alcohol to your lips, which is so important to you, to sit there and drink all day long, you're going to go into a seizure when you're no longer able to get it. You won't get the alcohol anymore. Not in prison. And I filmed part of Lynn Driver right there. Right there. We filmed a little narration for Lynn Driver. It's a 45-minute feature that I've already done. I've got 20 minutes up. We're at Szechuan. Jane Goodall ate here. She knew the owner. We're gonna look at her photo. Yeah, we didn't have a lot of time, so we just filmed.
Well, we didn't really film it. We just recorded the narration, but we did film the other scenes elsewhere. It's all in black and white noir. Linda is secretly a sophisticated person. She just needs to go dry. She needs to quit drinking alcohol. And she's pretty sophisticated and talented. She's really good, really good at improv, and could make a great actress if she tries. It's hard for a woman to act. You know, Shakespeare didn't allow it. The Globe and all that stuff, Queen Elizabeth, there were no female actresses. They wouldn't allow it. They were male actresses only, even for female parts. That's where drag comes from. Downright as girl as drag. Downright as girl. Because whenever you're on stage, your right hand is this way. And it's from the director's point of view. So when you say downright, you mean this way. So it'd be down here at the front of the stage, because the stage is raked. Upstage is that way. Downstage is there. So it'd be downright as girl for Shakespeare. Some of the male actors had to do that. But nowadays we have female actors. They can do stuff now. Anyway, Jane Goodall wasn't necessarily an actress, but she did experiment on chimpanzees to study war. She studied human behavior through chimpanzees and why they fought. Mostly for food.
Hello, welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
There she is. Jane Goodall, get it every time. I don't know why. Well, it doesn't look like she ate a whole lot. And she was older too. She kind of reminds me, she looks a little like one of my ex-wives.
Oh, okay.
Very similar in the facial structure, especially the smile. I was married to this lady named Angel, and she had a smile very similar to that. It's pretty cool. Hey, don't let the boomers fool you. They'll use symbolism. It's Fort Worth Weekly. So you know the date. There you go. They'll use symbolism against you. There's only one symbol. It's the cross, it's the crucifixion, but it's not really a symbol. The Puritans, when they came here to America, there were no symbols. So they went into their house, they didn't have a cross on the wall. Symbols can hurt people. He's not gonna give you a symbol. He's not gonna give you any kind of symbolism to go and do your bad deeds. He's not gonna give you, oh, there's a sign, see? My father was that way. He lived in that. All the hippies, they did too much LSD, or their marijuana was laced with it, and everything was a sign, a symbol for something, so they could go off and do the things that they wanted to do and hurt other people like they do with them. Will you do my yard work? We know it's illegal. We know it's illegal to hire a day worker. Will you do my yard work? You know? And they're like, well, you know, it was a sign. He showed up and he asked if he could work in my yard. And that hurts America. Day work. It hurts America. Because, you know, there might be someone else that can do it for $20 an hour or $25 an hour, but you're going to pay the guy $3 an hour. Maybe she went there because that looks like chimpanzees would be in there, Jane Goodall. You know, $3 an hour, you know, so that you could, you know, save more money to buy pizza for yourself and stuff yourself and watch television, sit in your recliner and die, which is what you're doing. You're sitting in your recliner, you are dying. Watching cable or YouTube or whatever it is you're watching, you are dying because you're a boomer and your time is up. It's, you see, in the Bible it says to fill new wine into the new wineskin. You put the new wine into the new wineskin. That's what it says in the Bible. All because of that. And the boomers just won't let go. That's why Rick Beato is just blah, 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 blah. Gordon Lightfoot, blah, blah. Well, we know Gordon Lightfoot. He's dead. We're moving on. We got younger musicians out there trying to make it. And Rick Beato's going, yeah, C sharp, F sharp, F sharp. And here's the brilliant part about the slide here. And the guitar slides, you know, all day long. And they just love it because he can analyze everything. Anything can be analyzed. The bird chirping can be analyzed all day long. And there's other musicians that are trying to go out there and make it that are younger. It makes me sick. And he's going off to Europe, you know, to Abbey Road Studios. Look at me, look at me. Well, you know what? Why don't you take me on and produce me? You know why you won't? Because you're a boomer. I'll be produced by the younger generation.
Where's your restroom located?
Right over here.
All right, I just walk back this way.
Hello, welcome.
Is it right over here?
Yes, it is.
Yes, I'm human. Sometimes I poop. True story. It happened.
So Dustin Hoffman did basically a movie called Tootsie. Now through Sunday, May 14th, Tootsie plays at various times at Bass Hall. It's also known as Bass Performance Hall, 525 Commerce Street in Fort Worth. You can call 817-212-4280 as part of the Broadway at Bass series. This laugh-out-loud love letter to the theater tells the story of Michael Dorsey, a talented but difficult actor who struggles to find work until one show-stopping act of desperation lands him the role of a lifetime. Tickets start at $44 at basshall.com/Tootsie. That's not too bad for tickets. I don't know if it's a musical or if it's a straight play. Drew Becker as Michael Dorsey and Jared David Michael Grant as Jeff Slater stars in the national tour of Tootsie at Bass Hall through Sunday, May 21st. That's probably, as an actor, that's probably going to be a good one. Drag, Downright as Girl. Also, if you're here in Fort Worth, Star Wars. Invoke your inner Greek, or is it dork? And join the fun on this sacred Star Wars holiday when May the Force Be With You becomes May the 4th. A double feature of Star Wars, A New Hope, and The Empire Strikes Back is playing at all Rooftop Cinema Club locations, including one in Fort Worth, on the roof of the Worthington Hotel. 235 Throckmorton Street, Fort Worth, Rooftop Cinema Club, downtown Fort Worth. Tickets that include an, what is this? Adirondack chair are $19.95. But for a few dollars more, you can add popcorn and convert it to a love seat. For more info and times, visit rooftopcinemaclub.com. They got a cinema club in Fort Worth. It's every Thursday, but they're going to do it that's coming up for Star Wars, A New Hope, and Empire Strikes Back. This looks pretty good for May 4th. For May the Force Be With You, or May the 4th be with you. Something called the Cicada, or The Cicada, has just opened in Fort Worth. Husband and wife team, Tyler and Stevens. The pandemic really had me dig into the ground. Let's say they're musicians. And the Cicada. And it's basically, I'm trying to find out, Taylor and Stevens' new independent music venue. The Cicada is just what Fort Worth needs. I'm looking for a location. It's a music venue. She's French. It's, while excited for the future, the co-owners are still grieving their former project. Let's see if it, I'll look at, oh yeah, they do have it. We'll get it, we'll find out where it's at. The Cicada is 1002 South Main Street, Fort Worth. You can go to the Cicada Fort Worth at Gmail. I'm gonna send them information about me being a musician there. Just right now. We're at Szechuan, and it's going to take exactly 4.9 miles, 11 minutes. The arrival time will be 5:48. 5:48, and the post meridian, as they say, meridian. and that's PM. We're on our way. Right. The rule of thumb is north and northwest will be even, just like Alfred Hitchcock, north by northwest, even numbers. This is an odd number. So that would be south or southwest or south by southwest, which is the odd, like all the oddballs. There's 200, so it'd have to be here. Hi. 204 is what I'm looking for. I'm on the even side.
201 Wimberley?
Well, 200, T04 is the apartment.
Okay, you can go.
Okay,
you
so-
deliver something?
Huh?
Are you delivering?
Well, I'm looking for 204.
Okay, go up the elevator to the second floor.
Okay, thank you. Oh, they got little postal boxes right here. It's really nice. Dry cleaning. So if your cat pisses or your dog pisses all over the place. What's this? Huh. So it says Forte. She said 2. Oh, referral program. When you move in, you refer a friend. $300 off your rent. It's better than adding $300 to your rent. All right. Let's look at this one right here. Oh, they're sporadic. Huh. Yeah, it's crazy. It's all over the place. You can find a schematic right here, though. I see. If it's 50-50, never go on instinct. Go the opposite of your instinct.